My friends, it is year 13, week number 657, and today is Car Free NYC. There's a bunch of things going on today. This is for Earth Day. They've shut down several different roads throughout all 5 boroughs. There's no plan for us here today, but I think what I'm going to do is first I'm going to take the train into Times Square. There's some performances going on. I'm hoping to catch it in time. Then I'm just going to walk straight down Manhattan, go to the car-free zone, and just walk and see what we can find.
Kevinisomoto says welcome to the vlog.
Okay, so this actually turned out to be not as successful as I was hoping it to be. I went around the city, but to be honest with you, there was just not that much that I found to be super interesting about all of this. We started out in Times Square. There were a few performances going on. This one guy who was speaking, it seemed very I got weird vibes from this whole speech he was doing. My friends, we have come out to Times Square. I think this was a mistake. There is not too much going on, and it's just sheer chaos. So, walking away from the scene now. There's like 2 stages that were set up. Just a few performers out here, but I'm gonna walk over to Bryant Park area because there might be some more performances and whatever going on over there. I was hoping, based on stuff that I was reading online, that there was going to be some performances or some shows or something going on at the park. Got to the park, nothing going on. All right, Bryant Park was super uneventful. All 5 boroughs have their own sections where they're going to do the street closure thing. And one of the ones here in Manhattan is right here on Broadway. There's like a stretch of maybe a mile or so where it's shut off. And it's very close by, so we're just gonna kind of walk down the street, head towards I guess it goes down towards West Village area. I brought my camera out here, so we're gonna just do some photo video out here right now. Okay, we started, basically, this is Broadway right here, this street. We started down in that direction, and we're heading up this way. I think that this is kind of where it ends up here. This is like Herald Square area up here. And I don't think it goes like the car-free area. I don't think it goes, or it doesn't extend past this area right down here. There was this deal going on with Lyft and City Bike where if you were in the zone, like if you were physically within the zone of the open streets, you could go up to any City Bike and unlock it for free. The problem is that all of the non-electric bikes, these ones that they were offering for free, the entire day, they were all being rented out. So in this scene right here, I was specifically posted up right by all of the stations where the City Bikes were, so that as soon as someone came in to return their bike, I could swoop in and get one. The problem is that there were a bunch of people who were out there also with the same exact plan. So even then I could not get a bike. So overall, my experience with Earth Day 2023 in New York City, personally, very, very underwhelming. Something I wanted to talk about in this video, completely unrelated to work, but this is like a personal for fun project. About a year ago, I shot this footage on 5th Ave, going up the street, looking at the Empire State Building from the sidewalk. I talked about this a little bit last week, but my goal with this footage here is I want to create a looping video for social media. I like this idea of looking at a video and everything in the shot is relatively normal. There's nothing quite out of the ordinary, and then your eye catches one little aspect of the video that's a little bizarre or out of place or just different, something that is very subtle, but it's just like completely not in the realm of reality. And so that's kind of the idea with this video is this is going to be a short, maybe 20-second video that loops. And in the video, I'm going to use some like animation to make it look like everything is normal, but the Empire State Building is going to be moving. Okay, so to achieve this, first of all, you have to make the video loop seamlessly. Like I wanted to make it seem as seamless as possible where you can't detect a cut happening. This is what it looks like when it cuts right there. So you can see immediately, if you're watching this video, you can tell that it cuts right there. In order to create the illusion that this is a seamlessly looping video, you have to get rid of that cut. So the way I went about this is I took this taxi cab right here that drives through the scene, and I used that as the transition point from where the video ends and to where the video loops. So the way I did this is I first masked off this taxi. And so as it drives through the scene, it's basically resetting the video. So the reset happens as that taxi passes through. But what happens is when you play this back, you can't tell that it happens because it happens so quickly. Right? So right there, the transition happened, but you don't even notice it because it just happened so quickly. Unless you're like really looking for it, then you'll notice it, but that's kind of what that is about. So I now have the looping video. I had to cut out the Empire State Building from this scene because I need to be able to isolate it to manipulate it later in the edit. So what I did is I screenshotted basically this scene right here and just cut out the building essentially. So that is what this is right here. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when you cut out the Empire State Building. So this black screen back here is essentially a transparent video. Like there's just nothing back there. This part I'm still kind of working on a little bit, but I had to create a fake sky. So that's what this is. And I did a color ramp. So it starts dark up in the top here and then gets light at the bottom. And that essentially just mimics what the original looked like. Then I photoshopped the actual building itself. So this is now over in Photoshop. I isolated the building and then I cut out sections of the building because what I'm going to do is when we go back into the video editor, I want to create this illusion of the building stretching and kind of warping and moving around. What you do is in the video editor, you can layer the sections and that creates this illusion that the building's stretching and moving around. This part I actually have not edited yet, so I don't actually know if this is going to work out, but in my mind, the way this is going to work is because I've isolated the building and all of its sections, I can just kind of like place that on the video and then create this illusion that the building's just seamlessly moving around in the background. I always make these kinds of videos, but I never talk about the process of what is going through my mind when I'm making this and the process of how I make this. So I just thought it'd be interesting to share this, even though it's not finished yet. I'm working on it a little bit at a time, and I think maybe in about a month from now, this will probably be finished. Next week on the video, we go to our very last sewing class. I also heard that there is a Japan festival going on next week in the city. I'm going to try to check that out. That'll all be in next week's video. Thank you for watching. It's been year 13, week number 657. Next week will be week number 658.